And what a show it was. What a show it truly was. My God. Um, wow. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
this is Hitman Cos, and welcome to your official review for Survivor Series War Games. And of course, I'm not alone in this endeavor. Please welcome, as always, the humble man, Gary. Gary, welcome to the contracts.
Yes. What's good, my man? Carl. And what's good?
Hey, shit, man. You ready to get in this?
Let's do this shit like Brutus, cause this was a great fucking show. Let's do this shit like Brutus for real.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
All right. Well, to start things off, they decided to start off with the Women's War Games match. And going into the match, Bianca did something that I had never seen her do before, where she took her signature braid and instead of having just one big braid, she had two.
Yeah, that shocked me too. I was like, oh, she had two?
So, but still, pretty dope. No.
Yeah.
And then Damage Control, whose theme I once again muted. First off, they all came. Everyone came out in masks. Like instead of just Asuka with her usual mask, everyone came out wearing a mask. So.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I thought so too, for real.
But anyways, let's get down with the match. First off, Becky and Bayley started the match. Little bit of back and forth action going on. Bayley throws Becky into the cage for a little bit.
That's right.
Then Bayley hits Becky with what a brutal looking suplex in between the rings onto the steel grate.
That's right.
Then Becky is able to lock in the disarmer. However, while she has it locked in, Dakota Kai, who's on the outside, is able to break it up because she slides in a Singapore cane, to which Bayley tries to use that for like a tiny bit. Then the clock strikes there. And first off, before I continue, I honestly think that they should have done what they did with the men and have a match to decide who gets the advantage, going into the match, instead of just deciding it on the spot at the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
But in any case, Shotzi enters the ring next. Bayley actually does a smart thing, and she closes the cage to try and stop Shotzi from entering. But instead, Shotzi turns the tables on her by slamming the door in her face. Then, then Shotzi proceeds to bring in a bunch of weapons, and it's no surprise that when it comes to an extreme match like this, the crowd is clamoring for tables, to which tonight was no different. But unfortunately, they did not get what they wanted. So that rang in an air of boos. Honestly, I'd say really not much of note happened while they had the man advantage, ironically. So then in comes Io Sky, who then goes I really shouldn't bring this reference in, considering that I doubt anybody's watched this movie, but you remember the movie Fresh?
Yes.
Yeah. So, with that being said, Io decides to channel her inner Corky, and she brings in a chain. And, and, and she bringing in the chain because she heard that both Becky and Shotzi we're gonna fuck her up. Then they're gonna be the man.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
That's crazy.
anyways, Io hits a double drop kick to both Becky and Shotzi. Then, while having the upper hand, Bailey and Io give Becky a double superplex. Then,
Right.
then later on, Bianca Belair enters, and she doesn't get any weapons, unfortunately for the crowd. But how I love what she does when she enters, and that's she uses both the hair whips immediately upon getting in a cage, whipping both of them. And in the words of the great commentator Mauro Ronaldo, beware the hair.
Oh yeah. That's weird.
And then what Bianca Belair match would be complete without her showing off her endless strength? To which she hit a double superplex to Bailey and Io. So on some dope shit, man. Then, and then because of the man advantage, Becky and Shotzi were able to regather their bearings and get a little bit of a breather. But in any case, they didn't slow down. To which, while both Bailey and Io were down upon the superplex, at the same time, Becky and Shotzi hit a simultaneous leg drop and splash from both of them respectively. Then clock strikes 0 again. In comes Kairi Sane, and first off, I loved the way she was marching to the ring. I thought that was so dope.
Oh yeah, man. For real.
Anyways,
Man.
she helps Damage Control even things out, and they do get a bit of an advantage, to which then they take the opportunity to, first off, Kyrie brings in a shit ton of chairs. I think no. I think it was either her or Shotzi that brought in the chairs. Either way, if it was Shotzi, then this would prove to work against her because because Damage Control proceeded to bury the bury Shotzi underneath said chairs. Then Io ran the ropes, and then she ran into to Kairi Sane, who then helped her by launching her in the air, and then hit an elbow drop onto Shotzi. That looked pretty dope, like almost like a leapfrog.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Up next, Charlotte came out. Honestly, not much of note happened during her time there, but in any case, there was decent spot where Io attempted a senton from the top rope or something, but instead Charlotte caught her and then powerbombed her into the cage wall. Then then at one point Charlotte hit a double blockbuster, and at this rate I should be used to Charlotte flipping and whatnot, but even still this double blockbuster did look impressive. And then
Right.
yeah, then Io climbs to the top of the cage, and then while at the top of the cage, she brings the chain and drops it down, like she's still holding it, but she drops it down, and for Dakota Kai to catch. To which then Dakota Kai ties a trash can lid to it. I mean a trash can to it, and then Io brings it, and then Io brings it up, and then she puts it on herself, and then she jumps off the cage while having the garbage can on her onto everyone, and that by far was the highlight of the match. The lengths that Io goes to when it comes to this match in particular, it's nothing short of great, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was short of great. That's for real.
But finally Asuka and enters the match last. To which upon getting out, she then also reaches under the ring, she grabs some specifically colored black and blue Singapore canes, and then also being the crowd pleaser that she is, Asuka also brings in the tables, much to the crowd's delight. Then, once inside, she immediately sprays Shotzi with the poison mist, so that takes her out for a tiny bit. Then, while Damage Control has the advantage, once again, Io uses that chain to first off, they Bianca's team was all sat with their backs against each other. They were all sitting to which, and then while they were sitting, Io wrapped the chain around all of them, and then while the chain was wrapped around them, so they couldn't get anywhere. Damage Control then hit all four of them with a drop kick at the same time. Then, Then, Charlotte, once they were able to, I wouldn't say regain the upper hand, but at least create some space. She hit a top of the cage moonsault, and I know I really shouldn't mention this part, but it was so obvious. But upon hitting the moonsault, I couldn't help but notice that Asuka did not get hit at all, but she still fell down. But it's whatever.
Oh, that was crazy.
Oh
yeah, that was really crazy.
Then, Becky and Charlotte then hit a double superplex to Kairi Sane. Then they hit a double power bomb to Io Sky. Then after a little,
Oh,
what happened?
yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Then, Becky locks in the disarmer to, I think, yeah, to which then Kyrie ascended the top rope and attempted to hit the insane elbow to break it up. However, Becky sees it, breaks it, and she lets go of the hold, and then she gets her knees up, so, thus countering the insane elbow, and then locks in the disarmer on Kyrie. But
Oh yeah.
she doesn't tap. Then Oscar once again somehow tries to use the poison mist once again, but this time she missed. And then in response, Bianca Belair sprays her with a fire extinguisher. I forgot who brought it in, but hey, there it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then, then Charlotte then tries to hit Kairi Sane with a spear, but Bayley, doing the admiral thing, pushes Kyrie out the way and takes the hit for herself. But this proves to be a waste of time and also very costly for damage control, because then afterwards Bianca hits Bayley with the KOD, and then finally Becky hits Bayley with the manhandle slam through the table to win the match, and Team Bianca defeats Damage Control. And as we called it, Bayley got pinned. So
Yes.
So first off, this match was great. There's no doubt about that. I was especially very pleased with Io Sky's performance, and her once again making the highlight of the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was one of the best matches of the night. I ain't gonna lie, it was
Yeah.
one of the best matches of that.
Moving on. We had Gunther versus The Miz, and no, I'm gonna get into that part afterwards. But on to the match. Miz, has a little back and forth with him, and during which Miz actually locks in the figure four with the steel ring post, looking mad painful. Then Gunther try to powerbomb. However, Miz flexes his in-ring prowess by countering it into a Hurricanrana. Then what happened? Hey, Ayo, you good, man?
Oh yeah, I'm good. The best Gunther match, it's crazy.
You're cutting in and out, bro. But anyways, following the Hurricanrana, if Miz hadn't already flexed his in-ring prowess already, he does it even further here, because then he hits him he hits going to with a tilt-a-world DDT. And like that was crazy. Then what happened?
That was crazy. But that match good.
Yeah. Yeah. Then, then Miz hit the skull crushing finale, to which it was then countered, to which then Gunther was, I'd say just barely able to counter with a drop kick, but you know he still got the job done. You know he you know was able to do it, and then following the drop kick, Gunther he did hit his power bomb. However, Miz kicked out, and you know I gotta admit the crowd was pretty lit for this match, despite it being one of the singles matches.
Yeah, they were. Because I mean, anybody Gunther defends a belt against, like him and a few others who we've seen in the past, the crowd goes crazy. The match delivers.
Yeah, and then you know the crowd, the Miz's face run is working so far because the crowd was firmly behind him. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways, Gunther then then puts Miz in a super hold. However, during which Miz is fighting through it, and then is able to go over to one of the corners and removes the turnbuckle pad, and then after he removed the pad, he actually told the ref. To which then the ref then turned his back to try and put the pad back on. To which then Miz then hit Gunther in the knee. You know, just you know, a little longevity, just a little continuity from the shot from the, you know, figure four and whatnot. And then then after he hit him in the knee, he then took him to Dick Kick City.
Right.
And then and then of course, you know, when he took him to Dick Kick City, the ref didn't see, to which then that left Gunther wide open to get hit with the skull crushing finale, but unfortunately that still wasn't enough. To which then...
Yeah, it wasn't enough at all.
Yeah. Then, Gunther put Miz in a second super hold, but Gunther gets slammed into the ring post shoulder. I mean not the post, the exposed turnbuckle shoulder first.
Right.
But Gunther still ain't giving up. He tries one more time to put in the super hold, but this time Miz pulls a Bret Hart, and with the help of the corner, he counters the super hold into a pinning predicament, but still a kick out. To which then Gunther then attacks Miz's back before locking in the Lion Tamer of all moves, and Miz taps out, and Gunther is still your Intercontinental Champion. And once again, like we predicted, this was the singles match of the night.
Right.
These two don't miss when it comes to performing in the ring. The Miz, especially, you know, part of me feels, just because of how much people shit talk him, had just a bit more to prove, you know.
Right.
And and he definitely showed out, even though I expect nothing less from him. You know, this is the, you know, him showing out is what he does on a regular.
That's right.
And you know, this crowd was so deep into this match, it was amazing.
Oh yeah, it was.
Moving on, we have it was a scheduled match, but it had to be switched up a bit. So I do consider it an impromptu match just because one of the competitors got switched. In any case, Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. And for those of you that did not see SmackDown, what happened on SmackDown was that Santos Escobar was cutting a promo in the ring, and then during the promo, actually no, Carlito was cutting a promo in the ring, to which then he was interrupted by Santos Escobar. Then they get to fighting. Security breaks them up, and then as Santos walks away, he then circles around into the crowd, and then hits Carlito with a diving move, to which then Carlito's clutching his arm. Then Carlito gets helped to the back, to which then he gets jumped again from Santos Escobar before Dragon Lee pulls up to save the day. Then Dragon Lee then storms into Nick Aldis's office, demanding to face him in Carlito's place. So Carlito was not medically cleared for the show, and was replaced by Dragon Lee.
Exactly. Word, man. Yo, that was, oh God, yo, that match too was kind of okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but in any case, on to the match. Santos, you know, gets things cracking with as he tried to hit Dragon Lee with the same leg strike that he gave to Rey Mysterio in the ring, in the steel stairs. But thankfully for Lee, he was able to stop him. Then
Yeah.
Lee eventually regains the upper hand, hits a hurricanrana. Like he leaps over the top rope and hits a hurricanrana, which knocks Santos to the floor outside. Then he then gets back in the ring, jumps over the ropes again to hit Santos with a splash. Then, you know, while they're back into the ring, Santos hits a picture perfect looking super hurricanrana from the top turnbuckle.
Right.
Then he decides to violate, because he then tries to unmask Dragon Lee, and but thankfully,
Exactly.
yeah, but thankfully, he doesn't get to, and then also he gets hit with a hit with a double foot stomp for his troubles. Nah.
Oh word.
Then while they're up, Lee, Santos actually threw a punch, however, got blocked, and then Lee hit him with a sit-down powerbomb. But you know, it wasn't enough, after a small break out from that, Santos then hits the Canadian Destroyer. I don't know what he calls it, but I'm calling it what I know it as. He hits him with the Canadian Destroyer, then hits him with the Phantom Driver to win the match.
Right.
And these two had a nice showing. You know, it wasn't too short, it wasn't too long. It was honestly it gave the proper filler match feel to it. It gave the proper filler match dynamic. You know, without people feeling like it's awkward or or having people confused or whatever. You know, so yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
Then there was a bit of break in the action, to which there was a Ruffles commercial done by the Superstars, well, done by the Alpha Academy, and then also pretty Deadly, who then get into a funny argument over the debate of calling chips crisps or chips. Thing is, in America they're called chips, in England they're called crisps. I mean, don't matter either way, they're still Ruffles and they're still good, and you're still in for a treat.
Exactly.
But during which Elton Prince ignorantly slaps the Otis's tray of Ruffles onto the floor, and just as Otis makes him pick it up, we get a very, very pleasant surprise: a returning R-Truth.
Oh yeah.
And the crowd popped for him, and it's so wonderful to have R-Truth back, especially ever since his unfortunate injury. But time passed. He got what he needed to do. He rehabbed good enough, and now he's back. That's all good. It's great to have him. Bless his presence on the TV.
Right.
And actually, speaking of Ruffles, I forgot to mention this during the match, but during the women's War Games match, they did the whole having the advertisement around the LED barricade and shit, in which they had a Ruffles advertisement all around there and on the stage.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, they did.
But in any case, moving on, it was Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark, and then much like what I mentioned, when it came to that Ruffles advertisement, this match was no different, because they had an advertisement going on throughout the match, but it was for Slim Jim.
That's right.
And I really, I probably shouldn't mention this just because we might get off keister, but it's honestly been years since I've ever had a Slim Jim.
Oh, last I had one was like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, go figure.
For real.
But anyways, on to the match. Zoe attempted a springboard move, however, she was countered with a headbutt. But eventually, after some back and forth, she actually does hit the springboard move.
Right.
Zoe hits a, a DDT of sorts to Rhea Ripley onto the apron. You know, in it, sort of in a way, it reminded me of One Final Beat, but you know, then little while later, Rhea and Zoe. I don't understand this spot because honestly, first off, I'm glad no one got hurt, but this could have been really bad because Rhea and Zoe botched some sort of spot off the top where they were both on top. I don't know whether whether Rhea was trying to throw her off. Zoe was trying to counter. It just looked like an overall sloppy spot.
Oh yeah.
But you know, in any case, after the spot, Rhea then tries to capitalize with a riptide, but it's countered into a German suplex. But the German suplex doesn't do much for Zoe in the long run, and she does get hit with the riptide for the win. And Mommy, it remains on top. And I'll be honest. Even though I didn't mind this match, this was clearly the shortest match of the night. This match by far was the shortest match of the night. But you know,
yeah. Honestly speaking, it was.
Yeah, and you know, but at the same time, they did deliver. It was a short but sweet match. So nothing too bad enough for me to complain about.
Right.
Anyways, now that all of that's out the way, it was now time for the men's War Game match, where it was Cody Rhodes, Tacky, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso and a returning Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and the Judgment Day.
Oh yeah.
And to start things off, what happened?
I said this match, yes, was oh my god, yes.
Yeah, definitely. And first off, before getting into the match, one of the biggest things going on throughout the night was that Randy Orton was nowhere to be seen, and even leading up to the match, Randy Orton was nowhere to be seen. And because of this, of course, people were chanting Randy and chanting RKO, but also there was another chant that they wouldn't stop chanting throughout the night. But we're gonna get into that certain chant later. Anyways, getting into the match, Finn Balor and Tacky started off. Tacky, once he takes off his puffed up jacket, he actually starts it off a pretty dope way, in which he hits a dive over the ropes between the rings to hit Finn Balor to start the match off. But then eventually, Finn regains the upper hand and tosses Seth into the cage doors. Cage walls, and also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the Judgment Day had the advantage going into this match, thanks to Drew McIntyre defeating Jey Uso with a Future Shock DDT of all things. And I'm not discrediting the Future Shock, but nowadays, Drew's been using it more as a signature rather than a finisher. But even still.
Right.
Then at one point, Finn was in between the steel grate, to which then Seth attempted a pedigree. However, Finn countered it into a backdrop. Some painful stuff for him. Then JD McDonough enters, to which then he brings in a couple of Singapore Canes. To which then Finn and JD proceed to go to town on Seth, to tearing him up with it. Then JD hits a springboard moonsault, and I'm only calling it that because Seth wasn't laying on the mat when he hit it. But yeah, he hits a springboard moonsault. Then out comes Jey Uso, who first off had the crowd in the palm of his hands, and I love that when he came out for his entrance, he stood on the top of the cage and was vibing with the crowd.
Oh, right, that's right. Yes. Oh my lord.
But in any case, not much of note happens while he's there. He is able to even the odds, but JD McDonough hits him with a pretty awesome looking somersault Uranagi. Sure, this is normal upon JD's moveset, but it still happens so randomly and so quick that it never gets old.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Then, but then afterwards, much later, Seth and Taki and Jay hit a double super kick. Then out comes Damian Priest, and then what people at first didn't notice just because it was so small, Damian brought in a police baton.
Yes.
Like people couldn't make out what the weapon was because of the lack of size of it being. But yeah, he brought in a police baton and started going to town with people on that.
Oh, that.
Then
that's right.
Yeah. Then just like what Miz did in his match, Damian decided to flex his in-ring prowess, hitting both Seth and Jay with a top rope flipping neck breaker, with a little bit of an assist from JD and Finn.
Right.
Then out comes Sami Zayn, who then before he gets into the ring, he actually hesitates, and by doing this, he manages to successfully lure JD McDonough, who then takes the Singapore cane from him, and then whacks him with it. Then Finn Balor tries to pull up, to which then he gets the door slammed in his face, and then Sammy gives the crowd what they want and brings in a table.
Exactly.
And then at one point he was standing on the top turnbuckle and was laying back against the cage, to which then he turned around and then yanked a pipe from the cage. And then he proceeded to use that on the team. And also thinking, even though I really shouldn't bring this up, but I'm glad he used it properly and didn't damage anybody. Because whenever I think of a steel pipe, ironically, it has me thinking of Drew McIntyre. Because there was this time where he was in TNA, as the leader of the stable called the Rising, up against MVP's stable, the Beatdown Clan, and he beat them down, no pun intended, with a steel pipe. But when he hit low key, he botched it, and he actually cut him open pretty good, and he had a nasty looking gash.
Yeah, that is correct. He did. Because that's what I'm saying. That fucking match was, oh my god.
But the following week, Loki gave him a receipt and hit him with a pipe himself. Anyways, back onto the match. Drew McIntyre then enters the next, and one thing I forgot to mention was that when Damian Priest entered, initially Drew wanted to enter, but then Damian stopped him, and he was all about telling him to stick to the plan, and Drew was like, plans change and shit, but yeah.
Right.
Then, pretty much the whole time he was staring daggers into Jey Uso, to which he threw Jey into the cages. Then he tried to go for a Claymore, however, Jey super kicked him before he could even get his foot off the ground.
That's correct.
To which, and then afterwards, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso hit the 1D on to Drew McIntyre.
That's correct.
Then Cody Rhodes enters the match, and during the match, he pays homage to his father, the late great Dusty Rhodes, by bringing out his patented bull rope.
Yeah, right.
And I think him and Sammy use it for like a tiny bit, to which they also low blow Finn Balor with it. And the funniest thing happened during this time, as the seconds began to tick away, was that the crowd was shitting on Dominic, and he had not even entered the match yet, because he entered last for the Judgment Day, but they were already shitting on him. They were chanting "Dom, you suck" and all that. It was absolutely hilarious. But in any case, eventually, the clock did strike zero. Dom entered to a chorus of boos. Then upon coming in, he did attempt the Three Amigos. However, in the midst of his taunting, he wound up getting surrounded and eventually jumped by all of Team Rhodes.
Oh yeah, he did.
But the Judgment Day is able to put the cards back in their favor, to which then this was a crazy spot. Then Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest hit a triple choke slam to Sammy, Tacky, and Cody.
Right.
And then after doing that, JD McDonough then hits a nice looking moonsault onto Sami Zayn. Finn Balor hits a coup de grace on Tacky, and Dom hits the frog splash onto Cody Rhodes, and then Damian Priest hits Seth with Razor's Edge through the table. Then then the clock strikes zero, but Randy Orton still isn't here. Next thing you know, Rhea Ripley's music hits, and she has Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase along with a second referee in tow. To which I called it. They attempted to cash in, but they never got a chance to cash in because we were not disappointed. Out came Randy Orton, and And Randy's looking better than ever, you know.
Oh yeah, he was. I was hyped. I was walking. When I was watching the rest of it on my phone, walking to my second job, and I seen him. I was hyped. I was like, yes. I was screaming.
Yeah. Then, to which he has a great flurry to hype up the crowd, and then the whole team, all of Team Rhodes hits Orton's hanging DDT to the Judgment Day and Drew.
Right.
Then. And then Orton does his usual getting ready for the RKO, as he's coiling like a viper, waiting for JD McDonough to get up. However, he then turns around and then starts to do it to Jey Uso. And then. But thankfully, he doesn't hit Jay with the RKO, but he does let him know that he didn't forget about everything that the bloodline put him through, and the bloodline's the reason why he was on the shelf for as long as he was.
Right.
But in any case, JD McDonough tries to sneak attack Randy, but he gets a super kick for his troubles. Then, Jay then hits Damian Priest with a super kick. Then Orton hits Dom with the RKO, and then just barely off screen, Taki hits a curb stomp on the Damian Priest. Cody hits Finn Balor with the Cody Cutter, and then Sammy hits Drew McIntyre with the Haluva kick, and Jay hits the Uso splash on the Drew. And then JD McDonough, because at this point he had gotten up because he hadn't gotten hit with anything significant yet. He tries to run away to the top of the cage, to which then he's then met by Sammy and Taki, and then Orton he's ready, he's coiled, to which then Taki and Sammy threw JD off the cage, to which then he got hit with the RKO. And then Cody then gets Damian Priest up, and initially he wants Orton to finish the job. However, Orton tells him to do it, to which then he hits Crossroads on the Damian Priest for the win. And I'll admit, I was very disappointed that Judgment Day lost. However, it took me a bit to realize this, but Damian Priest got pinned, and like what stands out about this was that, was the fact that Damian Priest said he was the leader of the Judgment Day. So I can only imagine what this is gonna do, because the leader got pinned.
Exactly.
So that might cause a little bit of tension with the Judgment Day,
Right.
But overall, this match was great. That's absolutely great. Although I don't want to bring this up, but I couldn't help but notice that upon celebrating the win, Randy Orton was grimacing a lot.
Oh yeah.
So either one, the wear and tear from the match, was hurting, or his back was hurting a bit. Hopefully, it's just the match.
Oh yeah, hopefully, I hope so.
Then I'll admit, while they were celebrating, I was waiting for Orton to RKO Jey Uso, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But in return, something else happened that I thought wasn't gonna happen. But next thing you know, some static hits and Cult of Personality plays. The crowd goes nuclear, and I can't believe it. CM Punk came back.
Yes, I was hyped too when I was watching the minutes before I called you on the street. I was screaming, saying yes, yes, it was true. I was screaming, saying yes, yo. I mean, whoever I woke up, if they were sleeping, my apologies, but shit, it was a good fucking cause. Oh my God, yo. So, I mean, the rumors turned out to be true, and whichever rumors that turned out to be false, he wanted it to be a surprise, just like Edge. Just like Edge. He was gone from the company almost 10 years, but the year before, whatever made it 10 years that he was forced to retire. He came back 9 years after, and now CM Punk. Not CM Punk. He was gone from the company almost 10 years, and now 9 years after, he came back.
Yeah, and I gotta apologize for what I said on the predictions about how he was not gonna come back and shit. Cause like I knew eventually bygones would be bygones, but I honestly was not expecting him to come back here, man. It was crazy, but I've said this for many years, and I've said this long before we even started doing the contracts, that time heals all wounds.
Right.
It's been proven time and time again when it comes to wrestlers who leave on bad terms with WWE, that time heals all wounds. And any kind of resentment that both the WWE and that wrestler holds will eventually go away. They will eventually reconcile. Everything will be cool, and that wrestler will come back. And we had a small glimpse when CM Punk was on WWE on Fox, and obviously they finally fully buried the hatchet, and that resulted in CM Punk showing up to Survivor Series. The only thing bad about him coming back was that his return essentially stole Randy's thunder, because everybody was happy about Randy Orton coming back, but Punk essentially stole Randy's thunder by making his return.
Right.
Of course,
Exactly. Sorry, before you go on, sorry, there was someone who I read online, one of my boys, who said the same thing. Felt like it stole Randy's thunder.
Yeah, but I got no problem with it, because Orton had his shine in the War Games match. They won the match. Everything was good. There it was. Then normally, since I'm done talking about the pay-per-view, we would end it here. However, an interesting piece of footage landed in my lap when the show went off the air, and I think you know what it is.
Oh yeah.
Somebody showed their view from when CM Punk came back, and Seth Rollins was pissed.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because first off, when Punk's music hit, Seth was pacing in the ring.
Yeah.
And then also, I should also mention that when Punk's, well, I wouldn't say when his music hit, but like a little before his music hit, Drew McIntyre stormed off.
Yeah, I was just reading that. When he went backstage, he slammed his locker room door, put his hoodie up, and all that.
So part of me thinks that not everybody is actually,
Yeah.
actually, before I get into that, also along with him pacing, Tacky also had to be held back by by Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes because he was pissed.
No, you think you mean he had to get held back by Cody Rhodes and someone else?
Yeah, I did say Cody, but I'm pretty sure it was also Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy, what you meant to say. You said Seth Rollins by mistake. That's what I was correcting you.
Yeah, and like he was yelling at Punk, he was flipping him off, like, and you know, and like, and you know, the biggest question out of all of this that people were wondering is that if this was a shoot or if it was a work, and honestly, regardless of what it is, it makes for interesting conversation among wrestling fans.
Honestly speaking, like, I think that's for real because Rollins doesn't like him.
Yeah. I should have also mentioned that he legitimately doesn't like Punk. So you know, it's crazy that Punk coming back has already ruffled feathers. But you know, it is what it is. But also, there was also one last part during Tacky's little tantrum that I found very interesting. Was that while Tacky was throwing a fit and being held back, Rhea Ripley was in the background smiling.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yep. Like if you look at like one of the main clips of Tacky throwing a fit, where like the camera is like directly in his, it's pretty much directly in his face. If you look off onto the side, you'll see Rhea sitting on the steel steps with an evil smile on her face.
Right.
And for me, what this tells me is that she's gonna use that to the Judgment Day as an advantage, and she's more than likely gonna try and pull the same stunt that she did with Drew, and cut a deal with CM Punk.
Right.
Now obviously actually no, I shouldn't say obviously, but given how strong of a reception that he got, I'm pretty sure that he is not gonna accept it.
Oh yeah.
But it'd be a hell of a shocker if he does.
Right.
And then also before we sign off, there's another thing I gotta mention, that when it comes to the Judgment Day's entrance, and you know how they pretty much have like CGI graphics for almost every wrestler. They need to update the Judgment Day's graphics. Their CGI graphics, because normally their CGI graphics is 4 hooded figures with swords pointed into the ground. But now that and all 4 are meant to represent all the members of the Judgment Day. Personally, I think there should be 5 now, since JD is now an official member. So and sure, one could say that the 4 represented all of them except for Rhea Ripley because she wasn't in the match. But even still, I still think there should have been 5.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. they'll probably fix that later. But you know, yeah. But with that being said, that's gonna do it for this edition of the Contracts. I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I definitely want to thank the Humble Man, as usual, for coming through and kicking his wrestling knowledge.
Yes, you already know. You already know this show was so fucking great. It really was. And also, we will be, I'm feeling like watching it again. And we will be right back at y'all next week with the predictions for NXT Deadline and also the results for NXT Deadline.
Yeah. And then also, before we sign off, I gotta mention that apparently CM Punk is gonna show up on Raw.
Yes.
Yeah, so
just read that.
So yeah, fans got that to look forward to.
Yes.
So, until that moment, yeah, if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead hit the like button. Comment if you feel like it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And as always, by way of Struggle Vision Productions, it's the Hitman and the Humble Man. And if you see us coming, run.